My name is Sonam Ashok Amte. I am assistant professor at Rajashri Chhatrapati Shahu College, Kolhapur, Department of Statistics. My today's topic is sample space, which is the point of probability. The definition of sample space is the set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment is called as a sample space. It is denoted by omega or capital S. Example of sample space. First example is consider the experiment of tossing a single coin. When a coin is tossed, either a head turns up or tail turns up, discarding the remote possibility of the coin standing on its edge or that of its rolling away out of sight. Thus, the set of omega or capital S of all possible outcomes consists of two elements, head or tail, which is denoted by capital H and capital T. Therefore, we write sample space omega is equal to head comma tail, that is equal to H comma T. Second example is if a coin tossed twice, we have four possible outcomes leading to then omega is equal to HH, HT, TH, TT, where head on the first toss and head on the second toss, and so on. Now, third example is if a die is thrown, there are six possible outcomes. Now, that is six possible faces to come up. The sample space is omega is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because the die has six faces which is numbered from 1 to 6. Now, next point is sample points. The element of sample space of an experiment are called as a sample point. Total number of sample points in a set A is denoted by n of A. Thus, the total number of outcomes of an experiment is equal to number of sample points in its sample space S or omega. It is denoted by n of S. For an example of above, we have in first example n of S is equal to 2, because this sample space contains only two sample points. Next example is okay, here the sample space contains only 4 elements, therefore n of S is equal to 4. In third example, the sample space contains 6 possible outcomes, therefore n of S is equal to 6. The sample space are classified into two types. First type is discrete sample space, and second is continuous sample space. First, discrete sample space. A sample space containing a finite number of sample points or countably infinite number of sample points is called as a discrete sample space. Discrete sample space can be further divided into two categories. First, a finite sample space, and second, a countably infinite sample space. Second, continuous sample space. A sample space of a random experiment is said to be uncountably infinite or countably or continuous sample space if it contains uncountably infinite number of sample points. In other words, continuous sample space is the one which has its elements of all sample points in some interval on the real line. Thank you everyone.